about it? Hi, everybody. You're watching Working to Relax. I thought I'd be kind of a funny guy here. Got my hat on from vacation down in Florida a couple years ago. Really complimenting to the face, huh? I don't think it's too bad. But anyways, so I did a thing, and I was pretty excited about this thing. So I did a thing, and it was an offer I couldn't refuse. So forget about it. Anyways, so I got a package. I ordered something online, and I was pretty excited about this. So I have opened it, but I put it back in the package, so you won't see me fight the package. So I can do this with one hand. So, so a while ago, a couple years back, you know, probably longer than that actually. I got some stuff here that I've made a lot of new friends over the internet these last couple of years, and so yes, I made a lot of new friends the last couple of years, and the nomad thing. I'd love to be a part of that community, but excuse me, but with the financial situation that we're in and the you know, the medical problems we have around the family and everything, really can't do that. So, um, I kind of live, I guess you could say, vicariously through everybody else. But so yeah, so the package is open, and what I have is sitting here on the bed. But I'm just gonna drag it out and make you sit and wait and wonder. But so yeah, so if you were on earlier, and I had a live video I did earlier on the 2019 Volano Van Lee uh, fifth wheel. I think it was a 370 FL, and so excuse me again. So I hope everybody enjoys that video. Um, they're really good, well built trailers, and I've got my opinion of a lot of different RVs these days. Even the ones I used to work on at my previous job. Um, it I pretty heartbroken about that losing that job. I really am. I left my family in Chicago to move out here again. Yeah, I lived here once before, and I worked out here for a year, almost a year. Excuse me, a few months short of a year, and there was some medical stuff, and we really weren't happy out here. We really don't like living out here in Indiana, even a little bit. Not even a little, even a microscopic bit. I can't describe how much we don't like living out here. Um, and we have mixed, emotions. My mother wants to move down by my sister, and I really don't want to move down that way because they're down in Arkansas, and I prefer living here in the northern parts of the country. I know some people might find that kind of weird, but if there was a way I could make the nomadic thing work for us, I would, because I could have the best of both worlds. I could have what I want, live up here in the summer, and possibly be up around here for the holidays, and then head south towards my sister for a couple months, and then, excuse me, farther south to find even warmer weather. But but in all honesty, I mean, really, we right now the best I can say that we have for the RV life is we live in a single wide mobile home, but it's a home and it works. You know, ain't the greatest. It's probably the same quality as an RV, believe it or not. A lot of problems with it as it is. The subfloor coming loose and cabinets are wearing out. I know it's 9 o'clock. My goodness, but I shouldn't be yawning just yet. It's only 20 after 9. So anyway, so I did I got into this business probably what are we about 14 years ago, back when Katrina happened. That would have been like 2005 or so, working for a dealership in Chicago. I was going to college at the time actually, and I got in as a kind of like a detailer, really, in the RV industry at this dealership, and I did, I just cleaned campers, Didn't really move them much. I mean, I helped the guys move them, but I didn't move 'em much. We'd trade ins and I'd clean them. They'd sell one, I'd clean it. The guy that was working with me, he would do all the the PDI work and everything. So I got to plug in the phone because it's dying. So forgive me, but I have to grab the right charger first. So I know all the rest of you guys got to do these lives and stuff, and you guys have got better equipment, but all I have is a cell phone. So forgive me. So. So anyway, so we do, that's how I kind of got in business. I was just, detailing campers and cleaning them when they were sold and whatnot. But I enjoyed it. It was fun. And then, I got to a point where I started fixing, little things that would go wrong with the units. And gradually worked my way up, to just doing the actual PDI itself. The systems check, fit and finish of the trailer. A lot of mistakes, a lot of things I missed in the beginning, and I don't like getting in trouble. I just don't, and so I tried my best to just get what all I could. And every time I doubted, oh, they'll never see that. You never fail. The customer pick it out. So it got worse. Whew, excuse me. So sorry. But so that's kind of the original beginnings, and that was back in '05, and I got to learn the RV itself very deeply because with Katrina hitting in, what was that, August, I think, when that hit, or something like that. My birthday's early September, and I spent my birthday on a Saturday. Um, we worked Saturday and Sunday. I'd only worked there a couple of weeks. Um, I spent my birthday there PDI and campers for FEMA, for the FEMA relief efforts for housing for people. So the FEMA came in and bought anything that would sleep, was it 10 or 12 people, down to four to six, and anything that was about 27 foot and up. So about 30 foot and up. I think it seems like most of them are pretty good sized trailers. Some are lightweight, some are big. Back then destination trails weren't so big, bulky as they are now. But good destination trails, things like that. But time went on. That was 2005. I graduated from college. Um, I had 1 year to go when I got to working over there. And when I graduated college in September 2006, I kind of got an ultimatum from my dad. He said, "You either go to school doing what you went to school for, or you go to school, you go to work doing what you went to school for." He goes, "Or you either start paying rent or get out." So, okay. So I obeyed. The school found me a job. Found all of us jobs, actually. It was part of the deal. And it was a good job. But I was making $18 an hour working downtown Chicago at the job as a computer drafter. And for some reason, I had less money. Physically, I was making more money, but I actually had less money at the end of the 2 weeks, and it wasn't even 2 weeks. Actually, I got paid twice a month. I had less money monthly than I did when I worked at the dealership. So, about one of the reasons I quit the job too, I did a lot of sitting around that I was getting. I actually fell asleep at my desk a few times, snoring. So, not a good way to go. I'm not a desk person. So, I wound up quitting and going back to the dealership, working full time again for a little bit more money. I might have been like $13 an hour, $12 an hour back then. So that was quite a hike from 18 down, and I had more money. But however it worked out better. A lot of overtime when I worked there. And so I could make my time and take time off when I wanted to, or just ask for it. He'd just give it to me as I needed it. So that was nice. Excuse me. I worked for him. That was July of '07, and I worked for him from July of '07 till August of '08. My folks divorced in November of 2007 without us kids knowing it, and they tried to work out their differences but stay together, and they couldn't, but they had to go their separate ways. So in May of 2008, my dad left, and left us all kind of devastated. So I bought a travel trailer. camping seems to fix all. So, and it did help a lot. So we camped quite a bit in the beginning. I paid for everything that we could, and we were out twice a month maybe. We took a week vacation, came out here to Middlebury, and spent a week out here. Turned around and just wasn't making enough money to do what my dad was doing, what he was bringing in. So I quit the RV company again and went to drive a truck over the road. Well, that didn't work out. I worked for about 3 months. Excuse me, I worked for about 3 months. I was actually deeper in the hole then than I was when I worked for the dealership. So I decided in December that I couldn't look for a job locally, living at home, doing something else for more money if I was over the road. So I quit. And I couldn't find a job. And unemployment felt that I had good cause to go on unemployment. So I collected that for a couple of months, and I was able to get in working again at the dealership right in January. So I didn't go very long without a job, but it was very sporadic because wintertime there's not a lot of work going on, so it was kind of a as needed basis. But then as soon as March came around, bam, I was back in, and I made up for everything I was behind in for the most part, except for the mortgage payment that I couldn't help with. We were doing everything we could to keep up with it, but so we went there. That would have been 2009. I was there 2009, 2010, 2011, 11, and then my niece was born July of 2011, and then my first niece, my youngest, is Lacey, and so coming around one more year later, I was having kind of a falling, not really falling out, but I was kind of getting disgusted, discouraged, because I couldn't do anything better. I couldn't find a second job. I just couldn't help. So we had moved out of the house, actually, and done a short sale on the house in December of 2010. December 23rd, 2010, we closed on the house, and we just got out from under it, and under a short sale. So we went on. In 2011, my niece was born, and then 12. 2011 was a wonderful year. I mean, overtime the weather was phenomenal. We had an awesome show in January, an awesome show in February, and the weather cooperated that we were at campgrounds in March, delivering and setting trailers to campgrounds. We used to do that, delivery and setup to the campgrounds. So it was busy. I mean, I worked 6 and 7 days a week, 8, 10, 11-hour days, and I banked every ounce of overtime. By the time the last show in February, which is like mid-February, on until about Memorial Day weekend was coming up fast, and we hadn't even taken our camper out. I looked at my mom and I said, "We have got to go camping." I said, "I cannot take this anymore. I am burnt out. I'm tired." I said, "I just want to go camping." She said, "Okay." So we hurried up and found a campground, which was hard to do on a holiday weekend. The week, so we went ahead and booked it. We went out there and this and that, and we determined that the one of the best things we could do for us was to just look into something else. So I wound up getting a job out here at Jayco the first time. Yes, I worked for Jayco in the factory service center. So I came out here. They offered me to live in the trailer in the parking lot. They had hook up there and everything. Wouldn't need anything, so I went for it. And lived in the camp for about 2 months. We found a place here in Goshen and moved into another. That's our first single wide experience. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't great. It was okay. It was a newer house, and it was bigger than the one we have now. About 4 feet longer, which would have given me a much bigger bedroom. Instead of having the middle room, I'd have a bigger bedroom. So, anyways, so we went ahead and we went on with all that stuff, and some medical stuff arose with my mom and this and that. And like I said, we weren't happy here anyways. So I quit and went back to Chicago. That would have been April 13, working for the dealership again, same dealership. Now, I've left him 3 times. Then I came back in, and there were some promises that I guess he had promised, and maybe I misunderstood, but he had promised some things, and they didn't happen. So I do a lot of research on my own. Well, I'll come back around to that, I guess. So come back into working here in Chicago in 2013, and they had bought a new facility down in. Oh boy, you'll have to excuse me for me. My nose is running for some reason. Sorry. It looks a lot better than wiping my nose on my hand or picking my nose or something like that. I'm wiping it on my sleeve. So anyway, so in April 13, I moved back here. Traded in my pickup truck that I had. I had 75,000 miles on my 2008 Silverado I bought new, and bought a 2007 Classic 2500 Sierra diesel. And I wish I'd kept that truck. I made the mistake. I let it go, but mouse had been in there and gotten some wires. So we had it for about a year. I traded it off, bought the Ram. But anyway, so we went ahead with um, our whole escapade here, and we're out there, I should say. And things weren't going too good with the move. I mean, I think I did a good job helping organize the things to move, and they said what they wanted, and I kept it in mind and did what they asked. And we made 99 trips back and forth using my personal vehicle. They paid for my fuel and stuff, my utility trailer and stuff. I mean, we moved all kinds of stuff. We had my truck, and then we had three other trucks, company trucks. So and plus my utility trailer. So you figure we did all that. I think we made 3 trips a day for probably a solid week or two, just back and forth. We'd run down there and try to find a home for the stuff as best we could, and try to organize. We dumped it off, and some of it just you know where to put it. You just dump it wherever. But and then it came time to move the campers down there, and we got all the campers out on the lot. And it's probably one of the nicest lots I had ever seen, besides the dealership we bought ours from. And so we got all the campers in there and set them up and everything. And boy, it came out real nice when it was all done. Well, December 23rd, wouldn't you know it? Just a wonderful day. Uh, Not a very lucky day for me. I should just stay home and tuck myself away in my room. But December 23rd, um, he had, like I said, we'd had a falling out, and he fired me. So, is what it is. Went our separate ways. It wasn't a very quiet event when I left, due to some comments he had made and some rebuttals I had made, and maybe my attitude didn't help. But I certainly, expressed my feelings. Went to another dealership on the north side. I worked for him from mid-January until about June, and he was a snake. I really didn't care working for him. The drive was costing me a lot of money. We couldn't find a place to rent up there that was affordable. They wanted me to just put my mom out on her own and put her in a home, basically, and I wouldn't do that. So we moved back here to Indiana. Here we are. Went back to work at Jayco. So again, I left my family in Chicago again, moved out here. Mom came with. My sister and brother-in-law had moved up here the last time we were living here in Indiana, and we moved back to Chicago right after they got up here. So from Texas, where they were stationed at the time. So we get back up here and all that good stuff, and I worked for Jayco. I had another good run with Jayco for about almost 5 years this past October, 5 years, 2018. And I really enjoyed the first year I worked here, and I enjoyed the first year back here. It was very nice. I mean, I got my confidence back. I was comfortable what I was doing. I didn't have to, worry about what was going on and how things were going, but it was good. So I'd lost a real good guy that I worked for, shop foreman at the time. Real good man. He was a technician, started that way and worked his way up through the years and became a foreman in the shop. And he passed away of a stroke. And I want to say that happened in the spring of 15. No, that can't be right. 16, I think. 14. 15. Yeah, it'd be about 2015. And it was very devastating. It was not prepared. 15 or 16. It was very devastating, to lose him. And he was a good man. He never got mad. If he did, he didn't show it. He could talk to you. You could tell when he was mad. He was very red in the face, but could just talk to you like it was nothing. Just like I'm talking to you now. Real good man. I miss him. I really do. If he'd still been around, I think the company, I'd still be working for the company. I think because he had the technicians back, and he wouldn't take any of the BS from any corporate people, and he would kind of lay it on line, because he was a tech prior, he could explain things that made sense to the other side, you know. Um, so then we got somebody else in the shop who was not at all a foreman, just not good, not even a little bit good, just zero good, and he's still there. So I tried playing the game. I tried in the beginning. I kind of was more of a I don't want to say a rebel, but more of a. I guess I rejected him more as a foreman. He made a couple comments about it being his shop, and I came point blank telling him it ain't your shop. Um, I had a problem with him going to my toolbox and taking tools. Um, there was some company tools. There was a staple gun and a pin nailer that was companies, and everybody had their own. It was assigned to them, and it was in my toolbox. And I kept it under lock and key so that I knew where it was. I didn't have to risk somebody walking off with it. Well, every so many months, the outfit that we got him from Senko would come around and inventory that stuff, see if we needed anything, any maintenance on them, whatever. So, rather than asking the technicians in advance to leave their staple guns out on their toolboxes where they could be seen, so that they could walk up and inspect them and check them in and move on, he just helped himself and went right in the toolbox. And his comment was, when I approached him with it, well, that's Jacob property. Well, that may be, but that toolbox is my property. I own the toolbox. It's my toolbox, not Jacob's. Jacob wants to buy my box for $10,000. Feel free, because that's what it cost. Before the hutch on it were about 15,000. So for 15 grand, Jacob can buy, and I'll be glad to let anybody in that company go right in there and take anything they want, at any time. But I told him, I said, for the cost of that toolbox, it's mine, and if you want a Jayco tool out of my toolbox, you need to ask me. I said, I have no problems leaving it out for you to inventory, but do not go in my box without asking. I said, and that goes for the other technicians as well that do not have a company toolbox, have their own private box. Because there was guys there that had, a lot of guys that had, company boxes. I mean, you can't tell them not to go in a company box. So there was a couple other guys that had their own private boxes. So they'd had the same problem, but they didn't have the balls or the goons or whatever you call it to say something about it. So I got to be the one to rock the boat. So I did. I was told later on by the shop manager, that my biggest problem was my Chicago attitude. Does it look like my Chicago attitude's a problem? Because I really don't care. This isn't a rant. This is just talking, but and I'm not going after anybody. I'm just talking, like I said. But so anywho, so it kind of got under my skin, and I still make cracks about my Chicago attitude. I'm from Chicago. I think there's a lot of lazy people out here that I deal with, in this particular area. I think that the worship for church on Sunday is wonderful. It absolutely is. I think that things should not be closing down on Fridays and any day of the week, before 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. People still have business to conduct. I know that people have families to go home to, but I think that there are things that should just stay open, a little later than what they do. Even out in the smaller towns, I think that, maybe cost effectively, no, but I think they should look into a couple nights a week having things open a little later. But that's just me. Again, where I come from, things are open, 7 days a week for the most part. And I can walk in an auto parts store on a Sunday and pick up a part and then walk out, and I can go back to them at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday and return the part or buy another part if I need to. But out in small towns, you can't do that. You have to go way out of your way to another town that is open, a bigger town like Goshen, to get what you want. That's why we live in Goshen. It gives us more of the suburban atmosphere of Chicago. So we parted ways in 2017 here, or 2018, I'm sorry, October 2018. And I had my suspicions it was over with the coach I was working on. There were some bigger issues that the coach came in for that it wasn't written up for. Wasn't worded that way anyways. It was some loose trim. It turned out to be a bigger deal than some loose trim. And it was more of a rebuild on some things. And so those 3 items were pretty time consuming, and they ate up 40 hours apiece for one guy, and there was two guys working on each piece, each particular part. I don't want to say this. There was two guys working on this particular problem, and the problem repeated in 3 locations in the coach. So we tackled the um, what do you call it, the problems, and it was like I said, each guy had 40 hours. Oof, excuse me. I got a sun catcher in the window just fell down. I guess I won't be putting that back up. Scared the bejesus out of me. So anyways, so it was 40 hours for one guy, combination of 80 hours to fix this problem in one particular spot of the coach. And when it repeated in the second area and then down farther up in the coach in the third area, you're 80 hours apiece. So we ate up our entire schedule and due date of late September. We got it right around Labor Day weekend. And we ate up the time on that repair, also the first time we'd seen it. As we were finishing the third one, more units came in with the problem. So we were actually the not the rookies, but the what do you want to call it? Almost want to say the testers to this, I guess you could say. So guinea pigs would be the word for it. So we were kind of making things up as we went along. We knew what they wanted, but then there was no instructions on how to do this. So we were writing the instructions. So to all the dealerships out there that sell the Jayco product, you're welcome. Me and my partner wrote the instructions for the repairs that you're doing. Can't give any details on that, but is what the problem is, or what the repair was, or how we fixed it. But you're welcome, Jayco dealers. So, anywho, so we ate up our deadline with that, and we still had the list to do. So as we approached finishing the 3 issues, and then we had this huge list to go through as well. We went through and fixed everything, and we were quite a bit late. It was mid-October before we finished the coach. In fact, the day I finished the trailer, me and my partner finished the coach, we had spent the day prior detailing and scrubbing and wiping and cleaning, and so much work in this thing that there was sawdust and everything, dirt everywhere. We always tried to make sure the coaches were clean when we returned them, so that was the whole company thing. We tried to give it back to you cleaner than we got it from you. We had a lot of customers come in that were spotless coaches, and we had some that came in that were not very clean at all. So we always tried to give it back to you better than we got it. So anyways, falling out happened. There was this incident with a service writer, and me and him got into it. And, they let me go. Let him go too, but they let me go. So I went on, and here I am at my current job as an RV tech, and then some. But so in the course of the last 4 years, I've met quite a few people out there that full-time RV, and I enjoy watching people's videos on their travels, their trailers, the problems they have with their trailers. It's not that I enjoy the problem. I just enjoy, listening to people, how they problem solve their issues. So I try to put my 2 cents in to help people when I can. And I'm hoping that people enjoy this. They're not enjoy it, but that they find it helpful. I have some people that have found me and ask me questions, and I'll sit with my phone on my time, on my evening, and I enjoy going back through on Messenger or whatever and answering back. Even on my YouTube channel here, I've got a lot of people that are messaging me on the Volano walkthroughs that enjoy them. So makes me feel good. I like trying to make a difference, and I guess when I was working there at Jayco, I felt like I made a difference in what I did. It wasn't just a job. I enjoyed the job. I enjoyed 90% of the guys I worked with. The company was good company. The benefits were obviously very good. The pay was pretty good. Still had to work 2 jobs, but still good. Excuse me. Not very scary when you're yawning in the camera. But so anyway, so moving on with all that stuff. So there has been a couple of couples out there that have kind of influenced me on some new avenues to the RV world that I didn't know about. Boondocking, dry camping, solar. I, I grew up with an RV that was plugged into a pole. It had water and sewer and electric, cable TV. Now when we camp, a lot of times anymore, we'll cut out the sewer and still have water and electric. I think I've had cable TV 4 times in the 11 years we've owned the trailer. So, and one of those times didn't work very well. So, um, but but yeah. So we, like I say, it's been interesting learning all this stuff, and and I followed the RV nomad stuff when that was all going on in Texas and all that. I watched a lot of the people's videos. Outsiders Calling put up a lot of cool little sneak peek videos and how tos, or the like behind the scenes stuff. And uh, opting out of normal, I had a bunch of really interesting, cool videos. Powhana Travels had a lot of really good stuff, especially their Alaska series. I enjoyed seeing all their stuff from going to Alaska and everything. I love that motorhome. I love it. We just had one. We sold our last Fleetwood. They've got a Discovery. What was ours? Ours was a Pace Arrow. It was a Fleetwood Pace Arrow. Um, I guess due to the pricing of the coaches, we're not going to carry them anymore. We can get them. We're just not going to stock them. But so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. I'm trying to think of who else. There is one on my tip of my tongue, and I know it. I'm just not going to say it right now. I'm just saving it. I'm saving the best for last, I guess. I hope nobody takes any offense to that, but they were the first that I started. Um, but there's been a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube that I follow now with the RV stuff. Actually, it's opened my eyes up to other things besides just RVs. I mean, there's a lot of car things I watch, and truck stuff, and just random how-to things, and tools reviews, and crafty tools and things like that. That some of the stuff I find handy for the trailers. I'd like to get my hands on, but about 4 years ago, I was home over the winter, bored to death on a weekend, and was playing with my phone. And we used to carry Cedar Creek fifth wheels in Chicago, at the dealership I worked for. And back then, the Cedar Creeks were always a pain in the butt to do the PDI on. It seemed like it was always an 8-hour PDI. When we sold a Cedar Creek in the beginning, I used to dread it because it was an 8 hours of fit and finish, and nothing major, just constant little stuff that just ate up time. Drawers didn't sit straight, trim was loose, putty this, straighten that out here, adjust this here, tweak that there, and but well built coaches. And then you'd see them back for service, that first year or so. After that 1 year mark, you got them good and shook down if you used them, and you got everything fixed that first year. Smooth, just smooth sailing. And I remember the way they were when I left in 2013, and they were still very nice coaches. The Cedar Creeks and Cedar Creek Silverbacks were both very nice coaches. Cedar Creek, the Silverbacks had changed. They used to be gray with like a peaked slide-out roof, like a gabled roof on them. And I didn't like the gabled roof at all. I like the flat roof better. Don't ask me why, I just do. But they'd switched the Silverback appearance, and it kind of mimicked the Cedar Creek appearance more, which I liked. It had the look of the higher dollar Cedar Creek, but the smaller size and length. They were all under 38 foot, like 35, 36, 37 foot. The Cedar Creeks were all 37 and up to 40. But and they all came with, the Creeks had bigger, nicer amenities like the convection ovens versus the microwave oven, the bigger oven, the actual oven in the Creek versus a smaller oven in the Silverback. The carpeting was obviously different. Some of the furnishings were a little bit different in the Silverback. They were just a little bit cheapened up, not bad. I mean, like you'd have night shades but no day shades. The Creek had both. And I was fiddling around online one day, just thumbing through, looking at stuff on Cedar Creeks and what's changed in the last couple of years. And I stumbled across this couple that had this coach, and they were just I don't know why I stopped and watched that first video, but I did. And I felt the need to have to put a comment out there on it. And my comment was not bad. It was very positive, I thought. And it was just like I said here, trust me, just be patient with that coach, shake it down, get everything fixed that first year under warranty. Once you get it fixed, that coach will be sweet and smooth sailing. Cedar Creeks are good belt trailers. I believe they are. Next to a Volano, I'll take a Volano first. If you're going to give me one for free, I'd take a Volano over a Creek. Sorry. I've swung the other direction, I guess. I'm no longer a diehard Jayco fan. I found something I like better. I didn't know there was something better out there, so that's what I'm at. But, so I made a comment, and they actually commented back. I don't know how many times I made comments on videos back in those days, and nobody would comment back on anything I said, on anything. And so I wasn't really used to commenting on videos. So I got a little more comfortable with it. Well, they had commented back, and so then I had replied back. And then I went on to catch another one of their videos, because now that I've seen one, YouTube starts suggesting them. So I watched another one, and they had problems with their tanks under their coach. And then I was getting very upset because it wasn't their fault, but the service guy that came out to service the coach, the way he hacked up the trailer to fix their problem, was crap. And it really put me into just about seeing red. If I could have at the time, I'd have jumped on a plane and flown out there and just put it back together for him the right way and got him out the door. There's no reason for that guy to do what he did to that coach. No reason. They went weeks, I think, they couldn't use their shower, their sinks, or their toilet. And at that point they were living in their coach full time. So for anybody that doesn't know who that is, by now I'm hoping you figured out who I'm talking about. But so I continued following these folks, and we talked more, and we talked more, and more, and more. And as the year went on, I got to know them a little better. And then that following winter come around, and they were on the road having nothing but problems with the refrigerator staying cold and everything, and the batteries wouldn't charge. They kept falling flat on their face, and they'd put chargers on them to charge them up. And, oh my God, poor people were just bad shape. And they were at a campground one night, and or one day I should say. I want to say they were up north. I think they were up by they were in Montana, I think, at the time. And I want to say somewhere in the neck of the woods, Montana, Washington, somewhere around there. And I had started asking some questions, and so he went and got a meter and was actually doing the tests that I was asking him to do. In the dark, poor guy. And that evening, between him, me, and one other YouTuber that was following them that they followed, the three of us got that system fixed. And it turns out that the wiring diagram for the batteries was incorrect. The inverter was pulling off of 2 of the 4 batteries, and those 2 batteries were not hooked into the other 2 batteries, which were hooked into the charging system and everything else. So when the 2 for the inverter went dead, there was nothing to charge them, so they were just flat on their face. And the other 2, they ran everything else in the coach were just fine. So we walked through how to rewire that, and all of us was moving some wires around, and next thing you know, they're up and up on it and doing just fine. And that was the first big repair I helped them with over through the messaging on Instagram and all that stuff. And I think it was just Instagram. We were not Instagram, Messenger. We were messaging that way. Then they sent their coach back to Indiana from Washington and had over 100 item list fixed. So they were out here in my neck of the woods. And they were in a hurry to get out of here when they picked up their coach. There was a family emergency with her father. So they hurried up, unpacked, moved into the camper, took off. And it just so happens we were out camping that weekend, and it was the same weekend they were in town. They were heading out, and I told them where I was going to be, and I swear I saw their truck and trailer pull into the campground, but it wasn't them. Same color truck, same trailer. Thought for sure that that was kind of a surprise that they were going to stop in it. That's what that was going on, and so I drove my truck over that way to see, and it wasn't them. So, but when I talked to them later, I told them about it. We got a laugh out of it. Somebody had the same truck, same trailer, same color truck, everything, exact same camper, and so they moved on to their thing down there. They did their boondocking down in Arizona that year, the Southwest, and Powhatan Travels. What was that other one? Well, opting out of normal, obviously. Powhatan Travels opting out of normal. God, there was two other ones involved in that besides them. They all set them up with a real. They helped them do a really nice solar setup on their trailer, and was very impressed. That was my first exposure to solar anything, and listening to how the camper performed afterwards kind of opened my eyes a little bit, and I thought, well, yeah, I'd like to do that to our trailer. I'd like to be able to maintain the batteries and walk away from the camper and leave it in storage, and the camper would function in storage. I could leave an exhaust fan on or something like that, keep the air moving through the trailer, keep it fresh, and if we went somewhere and I didn't have the luxury of stopping at a campground, we don't want to spend the money. It'd be nice to have the camper function. I have a CPAP machine. It'd be nice to make it function. And so I'm working on that, but that takes a lot of money, which I don't have to do the solar. I was hoping to use income tax this year, or maybe, to do that because I paid off the camper last year with income tax, but that didn't happen. Anyways, on their Southwest trip, they were at a campground in Tucson, Arizona, and I was so tempted to hook them up with some family that I have that was literally 10 minutes away from them. They were on the south side of I-10, and I got family that lives on the north side of I-10. And I was going to hook them up with a good Italian dinner. And, with my aunt's work schedule, my uncle's work schedule, and then their schedule, wouldn't have jived too well at the time. But they needed help changing their water heater, so we'll help walk them through that. It took us 2 afternoons, live streaming video, to go through it, because John was talking to me, doing his thing, and videoing it for future people to do. So, I continue to follow these folks through their journey and their trip and everything, and I get a real good kick out of all the places they see, all the places they go, and everything they do, and I enjoy it. And I kind of have my eyes opened up to new places I like to go. I didn't know I'd love to hit the road and travel, but never knew where to go. Never knew what things to see. And a lot of these folks I follow, they've got some very interesting places they go, and they see some very awesome things. And I hope that I get the opportunity to do that. But if you haven't figured it out by now, I guess it's time to probably just break the news to everybody. So they are very good friends of mine at this point in my life. We've talked about a lot of personal things, some problems that I have, me personally, not with them, just me, just problems. Everybody has some kind of I don't want to say a niche, but some kind of an issue, in life, a personality issue, anger issues, whatever. But, I went through some of that earlier with mine, but I wanted to make sure I dragged this out far enough so that it wasn't just a dead giveaway in a 10-minute video either. So I've been through a lot of things like that, and have, talked to them, and him and his wife both have been very, very helpful in making some decisions, and the way they make their decisions, has recently helped me make a decision of my own. But, money's kind of tight right now, but I have been waiting for quite some time now for this, and when it finally came around that I could finally get it, I jumped on the bandwagon and bought it, and it was worth my dollar. Just in case anybody's finally wondering, my friends, John and Laura Hebert, Hebert's Travels, I bought John's book, and I am very excited to have this book. I've read the introduction and what are they called? The introduction and one other thing already. Oh, editor's forward. I've read that, and I've read the acknowledgement already, and I read the table of contents. And I have not dared to start chapter 1 yet because I don't think I can put it down. It's not a very small book by any means. It's quite an adventure book, so I'm very excited to read this because I'm not much of a reader, but it looks like 400 pages. And I'm not a Kindle person. You know, I try reading on my phone and it doesn't work out too well. So just too small of a print. And I have a tablet, but I'm so used to the iPhone, the tablet's a Galaxy. It's hard for me to go back and forth. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to kind of drag the video out on purpose. I didn't want to just give this away right away and not let anybody know what was going on. You know, so I want you to see it to the end. So, John and Laura, I really can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys helping me with some of my problems. I'm glad that I was able to help you guys with some of yours with the trailer. And I look forward to meeting you guys someday along with some of my other friends there that are probably, hopefully, watching this. You guys, all you guys, especially you and Laura, are a big inspiration to me. And I guess I'm hoping I can get to a point where I can do this too. Maybe not with my trailer, because mine's a little bit on the smaller side. I know you don't need a lot to do it, but I tell you what, the layout of ours works for camping, doesn't work for living. I've lived in mine, and it doesn't work for a very short time. But yeah, I wanted to show off it in the packaging, so I saved it and tear it up. And then I wanted to make sure that I could show the book at the same time too. So I've got some other studying I'm doing right now on another book that I'm reading, and I'll kind of release that to you guys later as to what I'm reading later. But once I get that read and all done, I will let you know. And then as soon as that's done, this one is on my list. And I know some of my other friends have written books, but I knew about this book and about the time everybody else's books were coming out, and before I jumped on the wagon and bought theirs, because I'm not a fast reader, I wanted to make sure that after everything they've been through and everything they've helped me with, I wanted to buy their book first and be the first one that I owned. So, anyways, so after 47 minutes of video, I think I'm going to call this one done. Thank you very much for watching. You can call this a shout out to John and Laura, I don't know, of Hebert's Travels, but like I said, them and the rest of the community, they've introduced me to the other folks that I'm friends with out there through their video chats and live feeds and all that stuff. And like I said, very, very happy that John was able to do this and Laura was able to support him through it all. And I hope that they keep doing what they're doing on the road and keep making videos and informing people and helping people. So anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble on for almost an hour. And you guys all stay safe on the road. And I guess I don't have a catchy phrase for the end of this. I just sometimes throw in there, keep working to relax. I'm not really sure if that's quite a good catchphrase or not, but it certainly makes sense as to why we all work. We all work so we can relax. And thank my mother for that one. She came up with that name. I put my time in so I can go camping. I work so I can camp. So I'm working to relax. So everybody stay safe. Have fun between the ditches, please. And look forward to hearing from you on the next videos. Or look for my next video. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, like, and comment, and hit the bell. And of course that's in the wrong order, isn't it? Because that's the thumbs up, the like thing, isn't it? So hit the bell, and it'll notify you when I do put a video out. And I guess that'll about wrap it up, guys. So have a nice evening. Bye bye.